We're going to begin this class by coming into our tabletop position, warming up the spine with some cat and cow pose. So come into your tabletop position here so that your knees are under your hips and your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Take a moment to just feel grounded here, feeling nice and supported by the mat. You can keep your toes tucked if that feels better on your knees, or let the tops of your feet rest down to the mat. From here, push the floor away from you. Send your upper shoulder blades towards the ceiling, hollowing out your belly. So here is our cat pose, like the arched back of a cat. Exhale here, all the air out, and then inhale as you start to drop the belly and lift the crown of your head up. So here in your cow pose, just let your neck be natural. So you don't need to crane the neck up too much, but let your tailbone and head be moving towards the sky. Exhale as you push the shoulder blades towards the ceiling, coming into your cat pose. Linking breath with movement, use your inhale here to drop the belly, lift the crown, moving back to cow. Exhale here, hollowing out the belly, sending your shoulder blades up and feeling as if you're stretching between the shoulder blades. Inhale, dropping the belly, feeling the spine bend, and then exhale, hollow out the belly, bending the spine in the opposite direction. Go ahead and come now to a neutral spine. And we're going to just gaze back at our left hip. So you can kind of think about bringing the left hip over, bringing your gaze over. So now we're stretching the right side of the body. And then exhale as you move to the other side. Take a round of breath here. And on your next exhalation, move to the other side. Round of breath, one more time, using your exhale to guide you, looking toward the right hip. And then from here, go ahead and send your hips back towards your feet, coming towards your child's pose. So in your child's pose, you can let your legs kind of stay about hip width distance or a little bit of space between them. Just fold your body over your legs here, feeling that your seat stays connected to your heels. And this should just be a really nice big stretch for the spine. And then push into your palms, pushing your body back up. From here, we're going to come to sit in the center of our mat, facing the edge of our mat. Take a moment to find a nice tall spine here. If it feels okay to have your legs in this crossed position, this is a great place to be. Or if it's easier, you can kind of let the feet cheat out a little farther away from your body. I just want you to focus on sitting up nice and tall here. Notice how your hips are feeling in this position. Maybe you notice that your knees are not coming towards the ground. Over time, as we come into these postures, the hips will open and you'll find that the knees start to come closer to the mat. But for right now, I want you to just focus on sitting nice and tall, feeling the spine is lifted, and just letting the knees fall wherever is comfortable. If you even need to hold onto your knees here in order to feel a little bit more ease, that's fine as well. Breathe here. And we're gonna do a little bit of pedaling through the legs, kind of like we would do in our downward dog, but we'll do it here seated. So begin to extend your right leg out, leaving your left knee bent and your left foot planted. And we'll just start to kind of move through the heel of the foot here, working through this nice hamstring stretch. So you can keep one or both hands on the mat next to you, helping you stay lifted. And just breathe as you feel the hamstring stretch here. This time we'll plant the right foot and start to extend the left. I like to do this off the edge of my mat so that I can kind of feel the floor beneath my foot, giving you just a little bit of resistance. And now we'll start to alternate the two legs a little bit. So right leg extends, kind of flexing through that foot, and then switch. Left leg extends, right foot comes to plant on the floor. Keep your breathing nice and slow here, just noticing what you're feeling. And after a moment, we'll come to bring both feet to plant on either side. On either side of what? That made no sense. Breathing here, feeling how even this kind of small movement starts to wake up your quads, wake up the hamstrings. Even your back is working here to keep you nice and lifted. And then after a moment, you can bring both feet in to plant in front of you. And we're gonna bring both of our legs out to the edges of our mat. So I want you to find a wide-legged stretch here that still allows you to sit up straight. So if you notice that your upper body starts collapsing, you can bring the legs in a little bit more. We want to start feeling a nice big stretch through the inner thighs, but we don't want it to be so intense that we can't maintain our breathing and our nice elevated spine. From here, if it feels better to place your hands back behind you or kind of slightly behind into the sides, you can kind of use your hands to help you stay lifted. Inhale, flex your feet toward you. Lift the spine. Exhale as you point both toes. Inhale, flex them back toward you, and then point. From here, we'll bring the right leg in toward the groin. So the top of the right foot is kind of on the floor in front of you. You may find this knee still doesn't want to come down to the floor. That's okay. But take a moment here once again to find that nice tall spine, starting to feel this engagement through the right hip in this pose. Go ahead and lift the arms up overhead here, and we're gonna just side bend towards the left. So bringing your left hand towards your left leg, starting to reach over your body. And think about sending your upper arm, your right arm, kind of almost not all the way behind you, but the kind of idea of that right arm going behind you, letting your upper body lift and feeling how that right stretch through the right body is kind of intensified as we pull the body through. Breathe here. Inhale, bring both arms back up. Now I want you to turn your body to face over your left leg. And we'll do this again. So now we're not so much stretching into the side as we're working on bringing the upper body towards the left knee. And you should really feel a lot of engagement through the hips and back. So once more, inhale here, turn the body towards your left leg and fold over however much is comfortable for you. So you can see I'm not folding over super far here, just thinking about bringing the chest toward the leg, feeling that engagement through the hip, this nice big kind of compression we have through the hip flexor, and this open leg, this right leg, feeling a really nice stretch as well. Breathe here, and then we'll use our hands on the floor to push us back up. From here, leave your right foot where it is, but bend your left leg, planting the left foot in front of your right ankle. From here, we're gonna start to twist. So you can stay here, or if it feels okay, you can bring this right knee in underneath you. So now the right knee is kind of facing out center. The left leg comes to cross over the right knee. From here, notice that you still want to keep both of your sitting bones on the ground. So if it's easier to do that with this bottom leg extended instead of bent, then you can do that. And adjusting is needed here. We'll inhale, lift the arms up tall. Exhale, start to twist to the left. So take that left knee, either in your hand or kind of in that little hook of your elbow. If you can bring your elbow all the way around the knee, that's great as well. But that is quite advanced. Your back hand is kind of acting like a second spine here to help you stay lifted. Inhale, lifting the spine. Exhale, maybe you twist a little deeper. Breathe into that. Breathe into that intense stretch you're getting on your left hip. Nice and slowly, we'll unwind the way we came in. So coming back towards the front, we'll go ahead and place that left foot back over and start to transition to the other side. So now the right leg extends out next to us. The left leg is bent in so that the top of the left foot is kind of laying on the mat here. We'll begin with our side stretch. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale as you start to bring your right arm down towards your right leg, folding over your extended leg. And then bringing your left arm a little bit more over your body so that you feel that intensity stretching through the left side body. Always breathing. Use your inhale to lift you back up here. And now we'll bring the body to face our right leg and fold once more. Noticing maybe what feels similar on each side or what feels different on each side. Breathing. And then using your hands to lift you back up. Now the right foot will come to plant in front of the left. Once more, you can twist from this position, or you can start to bring your left knee a little more towards the center of your body, bringing the right foot over to the other side. From here, letting your right hand kind of anchor behind you. It's going to help you stay lifted as you twist. Feeling that both hips, both sit bones are touching the floor, so I'm just having to cheat my foot out a little bit here so that my right sits bone can also be grounded on the mat. Inhale, finding length through the spine, and exhale, twisting towards the right, using your right arm like a second spine to help lift you here. Breathing. Inhaling, finding length through the spine, and exhale, maybe you twist a little deeper. Gaze over your right shoulder. And then we'll unwind really nice and slowly. And then we'll come to bring the soles of the feet together again. I encourage you to keep a nice generous distance between your feet and your groin to help this stay a little less intense. Focus on really sitting up straight here, feeling lots of length through the spine. So now we're going to start moving towards gate pose. So coming back through your tabletop position, go ahead, keeping the toes tucked here, go ahead and rise up onto your knees, coming to a kneeling position. So I'm just going to turn and face you here. If this feels intense on your knees, you can double up your yoga mat underneath you. You could also lay out a towel or maybe do this on carpet. Over time, your knees will get stronger and stronger, but remember that you can add a little bit of extra cushioning if you need it. From here, take a moment to just feel nice and lifted, nice and tall, and then we're going to root into the right leg as we bring our left leg out next to us. So here already starting to feel this nice stretch through the inner thigh. If it feels okay for you to bring the leg back. So it's as if your upper body was in one pane of glass or all on one line. You can do that. If you can't balance that way and you need to keep your foot a little ahead of you, a little in front of you, that's fine as well. Take a moment to just feel really lifted, bringing the hands to the hips. And we'll start to feel this engagement and stretch through the inner thigh. So using your left hand to kind of send the knee a little farther back behind you. So just know that that knee may kind of want to pull forward. We really want to think about engaging some of these muscles and engaging some of those glute muscles that help to pull this leg back. From here, we'll do a side stretch over our bent leg. So lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale as you start to bring your left forearm down onto your left knee, reaching that right arm up and over you. Again, thinking about kind of turning the body underneath the arm a little bit, gazing up. Inhale, lift you back up here. Go ahead and bring that left knee down. And we'll just take a moment, sitting back on I have my toes bent. If that feels okay, you can do that, or you can just come to a regular seat. Just taking a little break as we begin to come to the other side. So rising up once more here. Now we'll root through this left side and bring the right foot next to us. Notice that as you extend this leg, the hips kind of open up a little bit. So think about bringing your body forward as if both hip bones were facing forward. It'll really intensify the stretch you feel on this inner thigh. And sometimes I like to even hold my hands where my hips are to kind of help my brain realize what I'm trying to do, feel this engagement of sending the hips forward as we get this really nice stretch through the glute and inner thigh. Inhale here, lifting up the arms nice and tall. Exhale as you bring your right forearm towards your right knee, leaning over and then pulling your upper body through. Breathe into that stretch. And then inhale as you bring the body back up. We'll go ahead and just sit back onto our feet here again. So I really like to keep the toes tucked. So in this position, the first time you try this will be pretty intense. You may not be able to sit back on your toes. And in that case, you can just bring the tops of your feet down to the mat. And breathe here for a moment. So now we'll move through gate pose again. If the first variation that we took felt plenty intense for you, then I encourage you to take that variation again. And if you want to move a little bit deeper into the pose, then we will extend the leg that is out to the side. So rising up once more, coming to our kneeling position. Feeling nice and rooted here. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room because I got some long legs here. So from here, we'll start to root through this right leg. Go ahead and bring the left leg into that kind of first position. And then if you want a little bit more, we'll extend that leg out, coming onto the heel of the left foot. Again, notice that you need a little bit of intention and attention to bring the hip bones facing forward. Once again, we'll lift the arms up here and we'll begin side bending to the left on your exhale. Breathe. Really intense stretch through the side body and the inner thigh. Smile. And then inhale as you lift back up here. And nice and slowly, we'll bring that leg back in. Come to kneel down for a second, just letting the low back kind of relax for a moment before we come to the other side. So once again, starting in our kneeling position, I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit more room over on this side of the mat. Feeling nice and strong through the left leg as you bring that right leg out next to you. Again, you can stay right here, or you can get deeper in the pose by extending the right leg, coming onto the heel of the right foot. And those toes are pointing up. Once more, noticing that my body's facing this way, but I'm going to bring my upper body to face forward. I'm actually going to cheat my foot out a little bit farther. So already here, you should be feeling plenty of intensity through the inner thigh. Now we'll lift up, inhale, and then exhale as you begin to fold over. So now we have intensity through the right inner thigh and side body stretch on the left. Breathe, smile. And inhale as you come back through center. And you can place your hands down on the ground. From here, we're just going to come straight into a child's pose. So keeping the legs either together or hip-width distance apart. Starting to lay the body over your legs. And child's pose is just a really nice way to just let the spine stretch and relax. Let our body cool down a little bit. And just synthesize all of that intensity that we were just feeling in our gate pose. From here, plant your hands on the ground and use your hands to start pushing your body back up. From here, we're just going to come to lay down on our backs. So you can use your forearms to kind of help you slowly roll on down. Engaging the core as you roll down onto your back. And go ahead and keep your knees bent here. So both feet are planted on the ground. Go ahead and bring your feet toward the edges of your mat. We're just gonna windshield wiper here a little bit. So sending both knees over towards the right, and then both knees over towards the left. Head over to the right again. And just let your breathing be natural here. Letting the body just relax a little bit. Moving the knees from one side of the mat to the other. This should feel really, really nice through the low back and the hips. And then after a moment here, we'll go ahead and bring the knees in towards the chest. So start to lift your legs up, bringing the knees toward your chest. And you can either bring your hands together around your knees or just place one hand on each knee and just hug the knees in here. Feeling this really nice compression through the hip flexors, kind of similar to the feeling that we had in our child's pose just now. The knees in one more moment, and then we'll extend the legs nice and long down on the mat. Taking up a lot of space here. And placing your hands down at your sides with your palms facing up. Take a moment to just get any wiggles and movements out so that we can find a few moments of stillness in our Shavasana. Shavasana allows our mind and body to just take in all of the movement that we just did. And it's also a really important time for us to feel super connected with our body. So as little distractions start to enter your mind, just let them drift away. As always, I invite you to pause the video here and spend a few silent minutes in Shavasana. perhaps scanning your body, or just repeating your intention or mantra that you may have set for this class. Whenever you're ready, start to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers, bringing some movement back into the body. And then stretch your arms up overhead, taking a big full body stretch here. And we'll come to roll over onto one side of the body. And use this hand in front of you to push you up to a seat. Coming now into your Sukhasana, easy seated position, you should notice that the hips feel really nice and open now, and maybe it's even easier to sit in this position now than it was at the beginning of class. Bring your hands together at heart center and bow to your practice, bowing towards your hands. The highest and brightest, the student and teacher in me, honor and bow to the student, teacher, highest and brightest in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I really hope that you're feeling good in your body and that you will join me on your mat again soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the Pose Library. Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. Available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.